Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this evening's call. I want to thank all of you who took the time to join us this evening. You're in for a treat because we're actually launching the business of two powerful men, Pastor Johnnie Myers Sr. out of New Jersey and Mr. Michael Huggins, former retired engineer out of North Carolina. You've been invited because they want to share some information with you that's life-changing. But before I get started, just some quick house rules. First and foremost, we're going to be, since we're recording, we're going to ask that everyone keep their phones on mute, but also keep their cameras off. That's not to interfere with the transfer of the call, but also recording of it as we are streaming. So we ask you again to please keep your cameras off and your phones on mute. We also want to ask you as a guest of these Michael Huggins or Pastor Johnnie Myers, at some point during the course of the call, please type in the chat your name and who invited you. That's only we get a lot of people on these calls, and it's hard to keep track of who made it and who didn't make it. So we want to keep a record of who attended the call. So again, I'm going to repeat this again later on, but again, we want to make sure that you make sure to include your name and who invited you in the chat. So again, before we get started, I think it's very important for you to know as the host, I've been fortunate to be able to present on behalf of the two gentlemen who are launching a business tonight. My name is Derek Hawkins. I'm a man of faith. I'm humility as well as integrity. Go back on screen. I'm also a husband, father, son, and a grandfather. I'm a deacon as well as a men's ministry leader at my house of worship, but also my jurisdiction. I'm a retired engineer and project manager. I worked for 36 and a half years for the largest transportation agency in the Northeast Corridor, known as the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. I played basketball for a long time. I was the Division I college basketball player in Ivy League school, where I had a great time and great career. I've always been an entrepreneur. Even when I had a 9 to 5, I always thought about ways to generate income outside of the time, exchange the time for money, because I knew there was a limit. You can make a living by working for someone else, but you can make a lifestyle by being an entrepreneur. I'm an Ivy League graduate. I'm also a health and wealth advocate. I've always advocated for health and wellness for the most of my life. In fact, as an athlete, you tend to want to be in health as well as share it with others. I'm also a speaker and a trainer and a coach. I'm also a certified John Maxwell leadership team member, distinguished Toastmaster, which is an organization where you learn how to overcome your fear speaking, but also how to develop leadership skills. My wife and I both received an honorary doctorate in humanitarianism, and I am a LifeWave brand partner. You're going to find out a lot more about LifeWave by the time this call is over. So let me get right into the heart of this call and why you were here. My question to you is very simply, have you been patched? Have you been patched? And the question is, again, you see the patch on the arm. I'm going to share with you this technology. This patch, again, about the size of a quarter, looks like a bandage. It has on the side, it has an adhesive, and the other side has some natural ingredients in it. But this is the patch. I know when you see it and when you look at it, you might say to yourself, what is the patch? Well, if you have not been patched, by the time I'm finished with this call, I'm going to guarantee you two things. One, you're going to know why you should be patched. You're going to know you're going to know the benefits of the patch, and you're going to want to also get it yourself. So that I guarantee you're going to understand why this patch is vital to everyone who's walking the planet. Because what it does is elevates, activates, and regenerate your stem cells. The stem cells are healing cells of our body. That is what helps us, and that's important. So I'm going to share with you a short video. This video is going to give you a little introduction as to what this patch is, a little bit about phototherapy, the technology behind it, an inventor. And on the other side of that video, the video is only about 90 seconds, about a minute and a half. But on the other side of that video, I'm going to come back and tell you why you want to be patched, why you want to share with everyone, all your loved ones, people that you love and care about, and why it's important to be patched. So let's watch this short video, and I will see you on the other side.
In a world searching for answers, one discovery is changing everything. A patch, no bigger than a quarter, built not to treat symptoms, but to wake up the healer inside you. This is X39, a wearable, light-activated patch. Designed by David Schmidt, an inventor with over 200 patents. His mission? To reverse aging naturally. This isn't science fiction. It's stem cell activation without injections, without pills. Your body repairing itself. The results? Life-changing energy, recovery, sleep, relief. And the medical world, it's taking notice. Still skeptical? Visit thisisatinfo.com. You'll find the studies, the patents, the proof. It's all there. But there's more. This tiny patch isn't just transforming lives, it's creating freedom because behind it is a business model built for the bold. Real people, real results, income that scales with impact. And here's why. Because this breakthrough technology is patented and exclusive, it offers a lucrative business plan that allows you to compound your efforts. More people than ever are struggling in today's economy. You can no longer rely on your own sweat equity alone to make a living. This business model allows you to duplicate yourself and even better, to benefit from other people's efforts. So your income no longer depends solely on you. By duplicating yourself over and over, the income potential is far greater than a conventional job, career, or profession. And you're never alone. The This Is It system gives you the tools, the path, the team. All you have to do is start. The question is no longer if it works, it's whether you'll act or let this moment pass. Will you keep waiting or finally feel your body come alive again? Will you stay financially stuck or build something that lasts? Isn't it time to start living life on your own terms? The This Is It action plan will set you on a path to live out the dreams you have for your family. Get back with the person who shared this video so you can experience the age-reversing health and the exciting lifestyle that thousands are already enjoying. This is the technology. This is the team. And this is your moment. This is it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was a short video kind of explaining what this technology is, how it works. And let me talk about the incredible gentleman behind this particular technology. His name is David Schmidt. He's a man of faith. In fact, the way he actually came up with X39 is because he got a download. He's a faith man of faith, and he was trying to figure out a way to cure cancer, but he couldn't find that. But he was able to find a way to heal people through this technology. He has over 200 patents. He's a scientist and inventor. He specializes in age reversing technology. And in 2008, he shifted his focus and he shifted his attention on stem cell research because many people were starting to use stem cells. There was a lot of controversy behind stem cells because you're taking a foreign item and you put it in your organ and put it in your body. They talked about where they're getting stem cells. A lot of times they got them from aborted fetuses or they got it from stem cells of other people. So there was a lot of concern about it. But anytime you're putting something foreign in your body, there's always the question of compatibility. Also, stem cells injections became popular, but it's very different. A stem cell injection is a localized treatment where they inject stem cells in, say, a bad knee. You have to get at least 4 shots a year. It could cost as much as $50,000 a year per shot. There's no guarantee that it works. And in some places, it's illegal to use stem cells. So you have to go out of the country in some cases to get it done. We have a solution for that. And again, recently, David spent about 10 years and $4.5 million of his own money to bring this technology to market. And I'm going to tell you how ingenious this is. There is a patent behind it. And obviously, if you cannot get a patent for something that does not work, if it doesn't do what it says it does, you will not get a patent. Just to read some of what the patent says, you can look it up. The numbers there on the screen if you're taking notes. It says, as a result of elevating copper peptide. Now, copper peptide is a protein in the body that was discovered back in 1973 by another scientist. This scientist actually figured out if you can figure out a way to activate your copper peptides, it will wake up your dormant stem cells. It also, do some other things. But let's continue to read what the patent says. Improvement in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, which is the cause of most issues that people have, management of pain, improvement in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. Now, why is that important? It's important because by the time we turn 30, half our stem cells go dormant. And by the time we turn 60, over 90% of our stem cells are inactive. And that is important because remember, the stem cells are your healing cells of the body. Without them, you take a longer time to heal and you actually age quicker. That is why when you get older, if you break a leg when you get older, it becomes like a permanent problem, as opposed to breaking a leg, say when you're young. You can go to the doctor, get a cast, come out and be like brand new. But the older we get, the longer it takes for us to heal. And again, the faster we age. So everyone that we know on the planet is headed in one direction. Now, what if you can reverse that? You have this technology that can do that, and that's what this patch does. That's what this technology does. So let me go a little bit further. So again, David figured out how to do it. He used some codes from the Bible as well as some things he downloaded and found in nature, and he came up with this formula. He's going to read very quickly this disclaimer. LifeWave products are, again, general wellness and intended only to maintain or encourage a general state of health or healthy activity. The content provided by LifeWave is presented in summary form in general. It's in general nature and is provided for information purposes only. Always consult with your physician or other qualified healthcare provider before embarking on a new health regimen, diet, or fitness program. Do not disregard any medical advice you have received or delay in seeking it. LifeWave reserves the right to change product prices on this selection. Now, how did this patch work? I'm going to give you an analogy. I want you to think about how you get vitamin D, or at least how some of us perceive that we get vitamin D. Some people think we get vitamin D from the sun. That's partly right, because again, what happens is when you go out to the sun, there's wavelengths of light that the sun creates that hits our body. And when that wavelength of light hits our body, it activates the vitamin D that is already in our bodies. God has given us a body to heal itself. We just need somebody to figure out how to make it work. And that is where David Schmidt comes into the picture. So when you go out into the sun, you get vitamin, you get hit with the sun, your body's producing the vitamin D. Well, the patch works the same way. It is a proprietary form of phototherapy, as you can see by the patent. It's phototherapy is not new. I just gave you an example of phototherapy. I can tell you when I was a child, I used to play with magnifying glasses, and I would take the magnifying glass, I could literally hold it over a leaf and burn a hole in it by harnessing the power of light. Remember, we are light beings. It's patented. Nanocrystals simply means very small. In this patch, there are crystals, salts, sugars, organic salts, crystals, and amino acids. No drugs, no chemicals or stimulants. I'm excited about that because too many of us are held hostage to what I call a pharmaceutical cartel. That's right, I said cartel. That is because it is a big industry. It's a drug industry. And again, I have a lot of respect for doctors, but when doctors go to school, they spend a majority of their time learning how to treat, not to prevent. So when you go to the doctor, you tell them what the diagnosis is, and they'll pull out their pad and give you a prescription for some drug or chemical with a weird name that most can't pronounce. And if you've ever seen these commercials, and almost every week I see a new one. There's a new drug almost every week. They're always very colorful and bright in the pictures, and everybody looks happy and well because they're taking this new drug. But be careful when you see those commercials, because what the big print giveth, the small print always taketh away. It'll tell you that this particular drug would do this for you, it'll help you heal this and do that. But in the small print, it say, however, it could cause cancer, heart attack, stroke, even death or loss of limb. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like those odds. As I said, I have a lot of respect for doctors. They spend a lot of time learning how to treat. But again, when you go to your doctor and if something doesn't work and you go back to them and say, hey, doc, remember that drug you gave me? Well, it's not working. It's causing all these side effects. He said, okay, that didn't work. Let's try something else. Now, I call that practice, and that's probably why they call it a medical practice, because they're practicing on you and I, and guess who are the guinea pigs? You're right. Now, we have a lot of doctors that actually use these patches, endorse the patches, and are seeing the benefits of it. Now, the benefit of the patch, it reflects light to activate what I told you earlier. It's something called a copper peptide, discovered back in 1973. And it was learned if you can activate your copper peptides, you will wake up your dormant stem cells. It's non-transdermal, doesn't penetrate the skin, it's non-invasive. So these are, again, it's a natural way to heal, and it's a godsend. Okay. Let's talk about the benefits. There are so many benefits, too many to name. I'm just going to name a few of them. You get optimum health and wellness. You just feel better when you take the patch. It's it's a wellness feeling you get. You feel better. There's so many things that you experience. You have optimum health and wellness. You improve exercise performance. You improvement in strength, improvement in stamina, healthy energy flow. You sleep better. There's no drugs or stimulants. Again, you achieve optimal health, a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being that we all should experience. Okay. On to the next slide. Let's talk about the long-term results of the patch. When you first wear the patch, the first thing that happens is 4,000 genes begin to reset. Let me tell you how significant that is. There have been experiments done on the benefits of something called resveratrol. Resveratrol is actually the extract of a grape seed. And that is why they say if you drink 2 glasses of wine, you can average about 2 genes being reset. Could you imagine how much wine you'd have to drink to reset 4,000 genes? Incredible. Your brain becomes balanced. I'm going to show you proof. I'm going to show you a brain scan of a 77-year-old woman who had migraine headaches for years, tried everything to deal with it. Nothing seemed to work. I'm going to talk about the collagen increases. Now, collagen is very important, not just for your hair, skin, and nails. The collagen is like the glue to our bodies, so our organs. It's needed everywhere. That is why people are taking collagen supplements, they're getting collagen shots. But what if your collagen can reset itself and restore itself from within? How about your heart reversing in age by as much as 8 years? I know it sounds odd, but think about this. We have two ages. We have what's called a physical age, which measure how long you've been on the planet, how many trips you had around the sun. So if you're 60 years of age, you're physically 60 years of age. But if you're the kind of person who ate well, you exercise, you were mobile, you avoided a lot of stress, you didn't drink, smoke, or take drugs or things that were harmful to the body, you could be 60 years old, but have the vascular age of somebody in their 40s or 50s. That means your heart rate, how well your blood flows through the body. So that's a measurement that they take. So this patch helps you reverse your vascular age. Now, you could be the opposite as well. You could be somebody in your 40s, but you ate all the wrong foods, you didn't exercise, you lived in a stressful environment. All those things that you do contribute to your health. And no, you can be 40, but have the vascular age of somebody in their 60s. So again, this patch reverses your age by using it. And they say and recommend that you should use the patch for an average, just to get started, 1 month for every decade of life. So if you're 40 years old, you need to use the patch for 4 years to start seeing all the benefits and results. If you're 60, 6 months. However, I'm wearing this patch forever because I'm continually see the improvement. It is cumulative, the effect of it. So again, tremendous benefits of the patch. You're going to hear from some of our partners as well in terms of those benefits. Now let's talk about that brain scan I talked about. Here it is. This is the brain scan of a 77-year-old woman. She was a physical instructor, had migraine headaches for years, nothing seemed to work. She put on a patch in the first session. If you in the far left, you notice the orange reddish area represents migraine and it represents inflammation in the brain, a lack of brain coherence. You know what happens when you get older. You walk into a room and you forgot why you walked into the room. You walk into another room, you got the glasses on your forehead, and you ask anybody, have they seen my glasses? So again, we start to get what they call brain fog. So this helps with improving that. Look what happened after session number 2. 3 weeks later, after wearing this patch every day, and I'll tell you how to wear the patch on a regular basis, no more inflammation. Look at the coolness of the brain scan. Improved brain coherence. Look what happened after 6 weeks. A complete turnaround, better brain coherence. And imagine this, because we have stem cells throughout our body, we have some stem cells that can be actually converted to any other stem cell in the body. That's how powerful it is. This could be your heart. It could be your liver. It could be your brain, your bone structure. It could be your muscles. It could be your blood. A lot of times, again, it's working within and you can't even feel it. Some things that happen and you can't always feel. Obviously, pain you can feel when it goes away, but you can't feel it when your heart is improving, when your blood is improving, your sleep is improving. I'm going to share some testimonies as well and improvements that I got by using the patch, but it actually does what it says it does. How do you wear the patch? Very simply, you wear it for 12 hours on. You put the patch anywhere in the body. You notice in the diagram, they show it on the back of the neck. I think they call it the C7, and they're all just below the belly button. That is because when we do a clinical trial and clinical studies, you have to be consistent from where you take the information. However, you can wear the patch anywhere in the body. I say put it where it hurts, put it where you think it needs the most. So when you put the patch on for 12 hours, let's say you put it on at 8 o'clock in the morning, take it off at 8 o'clock at night. What it does, it elevates, activates, and regenerates your copper peptides. And when that happens, guess what? Your stem cells wake up. Like somebody getting up in the morning, they stretch and say, okay, let's go to work. Where does the body need us the most? Now, it's not the patch that is healing you. The patch just activates your copper peptides. And once that happens, your stem cells wake up and go to work. Let me tell you the power in the patch and how it works. When you put this patch on, and you put it on the body, it actually reflects the light, or I call it heat, or the energy that normally leaves the body. And you may have seen this anytime you've seen a night vision goggle, people using night vision goggles, particularly in the military, they can literally see someone a mile away because their body's giving off heat, energy, and light. We are light beings. Remember, God said, let there be light. And then it was. So we're light beings. So you can see someone, you can see lost animals, you can find kids that may have been lost. You can see your opponent in the military. So bottom line is our body is giving off heat. So when you put on this patch, it acts as a mirror. It reflects the light back inward at certain frequencies that causes the activation of your copper peptides and then wake up the stem cells. And now it starts to go to work and you start to see miraculous things happen. So once you wear the patch for 12 hours after 8 o'clock, let's say if you put it on 8 in the morning, take it off at 8 o'clock at night, discard it, throw it away, don't reuse it. And then the next day you want to get back up, give yourself 12 hours of rest because your body has been known and documented. The body repairs itself when it's in a sleep state. It rests, repair, and rejuvenate. In fact, because the patch helps you sleep better, you'll have better sleep. So more will happen for you as well. Now we have a lot of testimonies, and I know that we have two of our, again, a host I'm fortunate to be able to present for them. Again, that's Pastor Johnnie Myers Sr. as well as Michael Huggins. I know Michael Huggins is going to have a testimony. Johnnie Myers, if you do have a testimony, I'll call on you right after Michael gives his testimony. But I'm going to play for you the best testimony of all for me. I started using the patch, and if you don't mind, stay on mute for the moment. Uh, I've been using the patch for almost 3 years. When I first started using the patch, the reason I wanted to use the patch because as an athlete, I've been playing basketball for well over 60 years. I started getting discomfort in my back, particularly my lower back. If I would sit down for more than an hour, when I stand up, I'd have to stretch and get ready. I felt like the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz, where somebody needed to slide some oil to me for it to work. Um, when I went to bed at night, when I slept, I would sleep awkward. I would turn back and forth. I would toss and turn all night. My wife couldn't sleep because she said it sounded like I was going to stop breathing because I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. But the bottom line is, those were the things that I was dealing with before wearing a patch. Let me tell you what happened. In the first week of me wearing the patch, I didn't tell my wife I was wearing a patch. I wanted to see if it worked first. But she noticed that I stopped snoring. And it didn't sound like I was going to stop breathing. I slept like a baby at night. So in the first week, she asked me, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I started wearing these patches because I wanted to see if it's going to help me with my discomfort in my lower back." But it took 3 weeks for it to really show up. I was going to physical therapy twice a week during that time. After the third week, I could sit down for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I could stand up, and guess what? No more oil. No more oil needed to move forward. I would sleep any position I wanted to. My wife started to sleep better because I started to sleep better. So those were the immediate benefits. But my mother started using the patch. I started giving it to family members. I started giving it away to friends. The first 6 months of me using the patch, all I did was buy the patches, giving the people samples, giving them away because I saw the benefit it was helping. And I'm going to show you later on, after I realized that because it's helping so many people, there was also a business associated with it. I'm going to share that with you as well. So I'm going to play the first testimony. The first testimony you're going to hear is from my mother. My mother been using patch again for almost 3 years now. Twice a year, she has a physician come into the home to do her examinations, and they give her a feedback. So she was so excited by the visit that she had. She called me, left me a message. I said, I got to save this. I got to share with other people because it's important to know that this thing is not only helping people you love and care about, it can help everybody that we know. And after that, you're going to hear from Michael Huggins and again, Johnnie Myers. If you want to come on board to say a few words for your guests, as well as Michael, you're going to get a chance to do that. And Dr. Anthony Stroman, if you can, I'm going to have you come on as well, because I know you work on a lot of pastors, ministers, and churches and spreading the word. And I want to get your feedback as well to let them know what you're doing. So let's hear this first testimony from my favorite person in the world, my mom. That's my mom on the left. My hand on her shoulder, that's at an award ceremony. And on the right, that is me getting an award for my community service. That award presented by a former NBA player. They used to call him Skip to Malou. His name is Rayford Alston. He used to play for the Houston Rockets for about 9 years, well known in the industry. So again, I love doing work in the community. But listen to the testimony from my mom after she got a visit from her physician.
Yeah, Doris. I was just letting you know that I had a visit from the visiting nurse, and she took all my vitals and checked me out and everything, and she said everything was fine. And she was so proud of my heart and my blood pressure and everything. She said, "Yeah, you're gonna live to be 100." I told her, "Yeah." She said, "I told her, yeah, I was taking these patches," and I showed her the patches that she gave me, the ones for the South Night and the Ice Wave. And she took pictures of it because she was saying she was going to check it out. So I said, okay. So she said, well, they're doing you some good. I said, they are. Because I said, you see how I am? So she was talking about how good my heart was beating and my pressure was good. So I'm really feeling good about it. Because they seem to be doing pretty good. Okay.
All right. Now, next person we're going to hear from Mr. Michael Huggan. If you don't mind coming off mute and welcome your guest, but also want to share your own personal testimony with us.
Yes, good evening, folks. Thank you, Derek, for allowing me to give my testimony this evening. When Derek introduced the X39 to me, I wasn't convinced of it, but I'll let you know a little bit of history. Just like Derek, I'm a basketball fanatic. I played basketball well into my mid to late 50s with my son. I'm an engineer, and the reason I got involved after hearing my first presentation is because I'm legally blind and glaucoma has stolen most of my vision. Understanding biology and genetics, um, the presentation made sense. So I told Derek I'm all in. Okay, for when my package first got to me, I wore two patches, one on each temple, because I was trying to get the maximum effect out of both eyes. So the first day, I didn't feel anything, and after I took the patches off and when I was going to bed, I I made a note of what happened that day, and what happened was, and nothing happened with my eyes. It wasn't a one hit, but I had 6 bowel movements within a 14-hour day. It wasn't diarrhea. I hadn't changed anything within my diet. So started making a journal about what was going on. So I jotted down, wow, clean colon cleanse. The next day, I woke up and I had a great night's sleep and everything. Um, and then what happened is I had been suffering from late age allergies, and where I was taking Benadryl to go to sleep. When I wake up in the morning, I was taking Allegra, and so imagine just you're taking that much medication just to be able to breathe. I noticed in the second day that I no longer felt that I had to take it any longer because I could just breathe on my own. So since then I haven't taken any medication for allergies over 2.5 years. Within the next week, I noticed that I've my knees weren't hurting, and I've had knee replacement on both knees. Because you're partially mechanical, you still have a small infinitesimal pain, which is between 1 and 2. And now I have no pain in there. I developed plantar fasciitis. I have no pain there. I used to get on the ground to do stretching, and I thought I needed hip replacement. I have no pain in that hip either. My lower back, I have no pain in my lower back either. Um, I choose to be bald these days because it's cheaper than go to the barber shop. They charge too much. But I used to have to shave every 3 days. Now I have to shave every day because my hair grows back that much faster. Um, What else? I had suffered from high cholesterol since 1992, and I did just about everything that under the sun to try to shake that. Changed my diet. I ran, I jogged, I biked, I swam, and I was all my doctors always kept me on Crestor, Lipitor, some type of statin medicine. And in 2024, my doctor took me off the medication because my numbers were in the safe zone. Um, as I brush my teeth these days, my gums no longer bleed because uh, I guess the gums are stronger, and everything is just in place these days. One thing that I tell folks when they're taking the X39 is you have to be patient because we can't pick what the body's going to fix first. It's going to find, just like COVID. COVID went into the body and sort of the most vulnerable part in the body and attack that. Now reverse that with the patch. It goes into your body and seeks out what needs to be repaired first. Not the patch, but what raising your stem cells to do that. Now I tell all folks that in order to be patient, healing occurs over time, not overnight. So, Derek, that's my testimony. I give it back to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Mike, for that testimony. And I do see Pastor Johnny Myers, if you would like to come offline and again, one, welcome your guests, but also share with them your experience so far with the patch. And I know you're on a mission to eradicate bad health and debt in the body of Christ. So, Pastor Johnny Myers, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of problem in terms of showing the video. I must have touched the wrong button. But
Yes, okay.
can you guys hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good, good. Yeah. I recently started about, I think I got my first I had the first 5 days that you sent us the sample kit, and then I ordered my own 30-day. So I've been on it now for I think 16 days.
Mhm.
And I tell you the truth, I feel better. I have a lot more energy. I used my back was hurting, and it's actually stopped hurting.
Mhm.
So I'm still trying it too. I'm still trying to see how good it is, because I don't want. I'm not going to sell anything that, number one, I don't understand, or either if I'm not using it myself, because I want to make sure that I believe God gives us responsibility, especially for those. I thank God for Minister Mel coming on tonight, and also missionary Denise Wilson, for just taking the time out just to listen. I do know that stem cells work. I had a pool, and it was all kind of like it was algae, it was all kind of stuff in that pool. And so I said, now this year I'm gonna drain the pool, and I'm gonna allow the sun to actually filter and actually clean the pool out. Well, to my surprise, the pool is like clean. I'm like, wow, so that's how it works. It is true that God has given us the ability to heal itself. And I tell you, I feel good. I'll be giving updates throughout in terms of what my conditions are. I'm hardly on no medications right now. And of course, I just turned 71, but I don't feel 71. I just feel really good. I mean, I feel great. And so I'm going to see what happens if I miss a day, and see what's going to happen. Will there be a difference? So that's going to be my next test. But, but, but so far I can say this, that I feel a lot better. I have a lot more energy. I feel more alert. So I thank God for Deacon Hawkins introducing it to me. So I want to try to introduce it to as much people as possible. So I want to thank you all both for this testimony that I've given you on tonight, and just want to say God bless you and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pastor Johnny Myers. It's a pleasure. I'm going to play one short one, and then I'm going to actually have Dr. Strom come before I get to the next phase of it. This is actually, they had an event 2 years ago in Florida, and they had a doctor's panel. So we have a lot of doctors that are using the patches and talk about it. But I just wanted to play this particular one because this doctor talks about the benefits of it, but he also talks about his own experience. And it's about a 2-minute testimony. So listen to this.
So Dr. Prison, now you're a vascular surgeon. You deal with, veins. How about blood flow and for your heart? How do you feel the X39 does, or any other things that you've seen in your patients or your friends that have been applying the X39 since you started?
Well, the inside lining of all your blood vessels is called the endothelium. And when the endothelium gets inflamed, then you've got trouble. And this is where all sorts of things can start, like blockage of your carotid arteries, blockage of your heart vessels, blockage anywhere, even in the veins in your legs. And inflammation generally is the source of most disease. And I would just tell a kind of a personal testimonial story of my wife Leslie, who experienced a miracle on the X39 pad. And she had colonoscopies periodically. And one time the doctor called her and said, "You got to come back from Colorado and have surgery in Phoenix." So she had the surgery, and luckily she dodged the bullet. It was very early. You know, she was cured from that. Every 6 months after that, she had to have another colonoscopy, and it came back the same way. Inflammation. About 6 months ago, or 8 months ago, she had a colonoscopy, and the doctor comes in recovering and says, "What the heck are you doing? Your colon looks like you never had Crohn's." She says, "All I've been doing is wearing this little patch for a couple months." He says, "Unbelievable." And the biopsies came back normal colon. So we consider that our miracle testimonial.
All right. So again, that's pretty much some of the testimony. We have literally thousands of testimonies that we have. We do have, for those of you who want more information, a deeper dive, go to thisisitinfo.com. This is strictly an information site. There's nothing to buy, sell, or trade on there. It's just information about the past, your testimonies on there. There's a description, actually, an explanation of how the patch works by the inventor himself. There's an interview with doctors. I mean, all information that you need will be here. The clinical studies are on this site. So jot that down. This is itinfo.com. And if somebody wants to know what it is we do, and rather than you try to explain it, you can send them to the site. It will answer 95% of their questions. Now I'm going to shift gears a little bit. I'm going to talk about the business side of it. But before I do, I'm going to ask one of our partners, Dr. Anthony Stroman. He's a world-renowned financial planner. He's a hydration specialist. He travels all around the world in different churches. He's always in demand to speak. He does a series called the Success Triangle, where he talks about health, finances, and a mindset. And he is one of our partners. So I'm going to ask Dr. Stroman if you wouldn't mind coming on and sharing with particularly those are in the ministry how you're using the patch and the benefits of it. And I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Mr. Hawkins, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can. Loud and clear. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, my brother. Listen, great testimonies from the gentleman. Thank you so very much for that, and an opportunity to share very quickly. It's interesting because I just had several conversations with several pastors today, and we realize that we're living in a different times right now, and they realize that we have to do something different. And so we're coming together as a body across the nation to destroy bad health. And one of the things that I recognized many years ago is that there's a high economic cost for bad health. Many times we don't think about it, but if you add up the staggering amount of money that people in churches around the world are spending because of not having divine health, it is staggering. So these pastors and bishops realize that. So we're coming together to take the message to the body of Christ so we can not only take care of the health of the person, but there's an economic impact as well that we need to be conscious of. So I'm very super excited about what God is doing. And we'll continue to stay focused on what we're doing. I'm telling you, we have something that nobody else has. And when you have something unique like this, but you have to recognize, you got to have the right glasses to see something unique and special. But guess what? David Smith, witty inventions in Proverbs. We got a man of God, witty inventions. All we need is a little faith and execution, and we can have millions of people walking with divine health to complete their assignment. Mr. Hawkins, thanks for the opportunity, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Dr. Stroman. Let me get back to the press. So I'm going to spend the next maybe 10 minutes talking about the economics that he mentioned of this opportunity, because again, it is unique. I'm just going to share with you how powerful this invention was. Again, back in up until 2021, this company averaged about $20 million a year in revenue. Company's over 21 years now. And the X39 was discovered and introduced around the time COVID would hit, around the 2020. So a year later, I want you to see the difference. The company went from $20 million in 2021 to $320 million in 2022, $430 million in 23, $600 million, which is over $500,000 in 24, and close to $1 billion in 2025. That's a 3,000% increase. And because of that, the company has been recognized by businessforhome.org. It's a media company that actually, what they do is they evaluate companies, direct sales companies around the world. There'd be 6,000 companies they actually monitor a year. And out of 6,000 companies that they monitored, LifeWave was the number one in momentum for 2 years in a row. And that's because of the explosive growth. Number one in momentum 2 years in a row out of 6,000 companies globally. Recently, last year, the company won another award. And this, again, this is an independent award. It's not from the company. There's an agency that evaluates thousands of nominations from 15 different countries. And they selected LifeWave as the Biotech Breakthrough Award. They gave it the Biotech Breakthrough Award, recognized them as the Stem Cell Innovation of the Year in 2025. So again, that just shows you that others are looking at us and evaluating us. And again, 15 countries, 1,000 nominations. We were the ones who they selected. What's important in your life? You heard from me in the beginning. I told you a little bit about my background because that's what's important to me. My faith, my family, having fun, but also making a difference. Service. That's always been something in my mind and in my DNA. That's why I'm a deacon, because I love to serve. But what's important to you? Family time, obviously. We are living a time where, family is very important to us. Your security, financial security. There's a lot of changes happening around the world that's affecting people. The prices of gas are going through the roof. Healthcare are being taken away and snatched and compromised. There's so many things that are affecting families that security is important. Travel is important. Even, getting from one place to another. How about better health? When Dr. Stroman visits these churches, he asks the bishops and pastors, what are the two things people most pray about? And you guessed it, health and finances, less debt. And again, we're on a mission. Our mission is to eradicate bad health and bad debt in our communities. And we have the solution with this patch. Very quick disclaimer, like any other business, LifeWave makes no promises or guarantees regarding income. The success or failure of each LifeWave brand partner, we call it a BP, like any other business, depends on your skills and personal effort. You should not rely on the results of other LifeWave brand partners as an indicator of what you will earn. You could do more or less. It's really up to you. This is one opportunity where you dictate your income and your benefits. And here's why it's a great opportunity, because in the conventional business, it's a very high startup cost. If you open up a franchise, obviously you have to put a lot of money in, take out a loan. Very high risk, whether it will make it and whether it would last. The average company, they say, fails in the first 18 months. In the first 5 years, over 90% of companies fail and have to start over. How about long hours? If you own a business, the business more than likely owns you, because if somebody doesn't show up at your business, you have to fill in for them. So again, you're usually the first one in, the last one to leave, and you have to handle all the challenges. And it could be trial and error with the pace and with AI and technology moving so fast. You have to make sure you're choosing the right kind of business. But let's talk about LifeWave business. Very low startup. You can start out with a credit card and have your return on investment in the first 30 days, if not sooner. You have a 30-day risk-free trial on using these patches. Again, 30 days to use it. You have a risk-free. You have to make up your own schedule, and you have a 20-year track record behind you. This company, again, has never missed a payment. Just opened up a multi-billion-dollar new office in Utah. The company is bound for success. They have other things in the pipeline that are impacting people in a big way that you're going to hear about. But again, LifeWave just makes a lot of sense. We're exclusive. We're not a vitamin. We're not a supplement. We're not a weight loss. Not that there's anything wrong with those types of products, but there's thousands of companies that offer those types of products, and they all say that they're the best. But we're the only one that offers X39. We have exclusivity for another 15 years. And anytime you have a product that is exclusive and everybody needs it, because everybody has stem cells, they may not recognize they need it, but we all need, if we want to reverse age, be an age reversing technology, we all need it. We all have stem cells. We're all aging. We're all heading towards higher, getting aging as we go. So we all need it and can use it. Great opportunity. And also, opportunity, it creates solutions. What are the problems we have to solve? One, this market is oversaturated with illegitimate products. I don't know if you're on social media, everybody has something and everybody's an expert. Everybody has a product. And again, you never know what you're getting. The market's oversaturated with also illegitimate products, people making copies of other things. And again, you have to be very careful about what you get online. How about financial struggles? We talked about that. It's obvious people are having financial challenges because of what's happening around the world, in and around the world. Poor health and wellness. That is something that we deal with because, again, the water that we quality of the water, the food, it's not a lot of it's not real. In fact, in some countries, the ingredients that we use in a lot of the products here in the U.S. are banned from other countries. So again, we have a lot of challenges. What does LifeWave offer? It offers solutions. First and foremost, it has a patented phototherapy technology. Again, in the form of a patch. No drugs or chemicals. Right? Very easy to use. A duplicable business model. Again, what do I mean by that? We have a website I'm going to share with you in a minute where it tells you how to build your business, what to say, how to say it, how to do these presentations. This presentation is available to you. There's videos, trainings. We have presentations usually 2 to 3 times a day throughout the country that you can plug into. You don't have to do these presentations. You can simply be good at inviting. You could be the Don King of LifeWay. You remember Don King? He would be at a fight, and soon as the fight is over, he's the first one in the ring promoting the next fight. He was great at inviting, but we're talking about inviting people to improve their health and taking care of their family. So again, we have a process, and again, who wouldn't want optimum health and wellness? We all do. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the ways we get compensated. We have 9 different ways we get paid. Going to go cover maybe 3 or 4 of them. But again, the first one is called a binary bonus. A binary simply means two. If you were to invite somebody to join as a brand partner, they would sign up and they would be on your left side or your right side. They can only be on your left or right. If somebody joined after the first 2 people join, guess what? They'd have to go under that person, under their left or right, and so forth and so on. And that continues for infinite levels. Now, with the binary, you can earn up to $25,000 per week in a binary. You can earn as little as $1,500 a week, up to $25,000 a week by simply filling in and inviting other people to join. Because what happens is every time somebody joins your network or your team, if you want to call it, and they go on your left or right, guess what? Everything they do accumulates volume. When they buy patches to use for themselves, volume. When they have somebody who wants to use the patch, volume. If somebody wants to become a brand partner and earn an income, volume. And that volume is converted into income. We call it a commissionable income. Imagine 10, 20, 30 levels down, there are people that are all using these things. And because you initiated that team, guess what? You're getting compensated. So you can earn up to $25,000 in our binary compensation. That's one of the 9 ways we get compensated. We also have something called a business launch bonus for new people. And the goal is to get people started in a great way. So if you can identify 2 people, let's say you got 2 family members, a friend, somebody you worship with, and they are interested in getting started, and they get started on your left or right team. If you have one on each side, you become what's called a 1-star manager. You can do that in your first 48 hours. You can do it in one night. Some people have done it after one presentation. Again, and they have to start what we call an advanced pack, what I'll tell you in a minute. You can earn $25 per week. Actually, for 9 weeks, it says 8 weeks, but it's for 9 weeks. But what if you shared it with 2 people on the left and 2 people on the right? You now become what's called a 2-star manager. And a 2-star manager, you're going to earn $50 per week for 9 weeks. However, I have some updated news. Newsflash. As of Monday, April the 13th, we have a new promotion that actually is for the next 2 weeks. So between now and April 26th, you are all eligible if you get started between now and then to take advantage of a new promotion. It's called a double business launch bonus. That simply means what I just shared with you gets doubled. So if you enroll 2 people who get started, they get started what's called an advanced pack. I'll share what that means in a minute. You become a 1-star manager. You are on your way to your first promotion. You're going to get $50 for the next 9 weeks. All you have to do is maintain that position with those 2 individuals. Now, here's the best part of that. If you're the person who introduced the person who becomes a 1-star manager, you get a 50% match. So if you introduce me to the business, let's say, and I became a 1-star manager, you would actually earn half of that simply because you introduced me. You can introduce as many people as you want. That's for the first 9 weeks. That's called a brand partner. That's a business launch to help you get off to a good start. And if you enroll 2 people on the left and right, guess what? You become a 2-star manager. And now instead of getting $50 per week, you're going to earn $100 per week in bonuses for 9 weeks by simply maintaining that promotion. And again, that's only one of the 9 ways we get paid. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to help a lot of people because as you help other people, you help yourself. This company incentivizes you to help with the people that you introduce with it. We'll talk about another opportunity, another way we get paid is something called a mentor matching bonus. And I know you see the chart without trying to figure out exactly how it works. We get paid through 6 generations. And the generation, I want you to think about it as a family. When you have a child, they're your first generation. When they have a child, they're your grandchildren, they're your second generation. So when you introduce someone to the business, they're on your first level, they're your first generation. They in turn introduce some share with other people, that's your second generation, so forth and so on. To sixth generation removed from you, you can earn anywhere from 6 to 20% matching bonus on the individuals in there. And at the maximum, you can earn up to $20,000 per person in every level in that 6 levels of business. Now, it takes time to get there, but again, that's something that's available to you. Just imagine that. Now, that's only the first 4 ways we get compensated, but the bottom line is the system allows you to duplicate your efforts. In other words, leverage. You can earn a lot more while working with other people than you can ever earn yourself. I think it was, I can't remember who said it, but they said they would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of his own. Could you imagine being in a church and you have to take out 100 chairs for a banquet by yourself? But what if you had 10 people? You all have to only take out 10 chairs. Or what if you had 100 people and everybody took out one chair? How quickly that would happen. So duplication happens rapidly. You can leverage the efforts of other people by simply sharing this information and being a blessing to others. Now, to get started, you can actually get started by filling out an application. This application you can get from the person who invited you. You can also go to their website. They can give you a link. Several ways you get started. And the best way to get started is to get what we call a bundle. A bundle is simply patches. You're paying for product. You're not paying to join LifeWave. Unlike a business I started years ago, I was in a business where it cost $500 just to get started, and all I got was a website, which I had to pay for as well, and some materials. Here you're paying for actual product, and I recommend you get started with a bundle because by getting started with a bundle, it gives you inventories. It's a business, so you can put yourself in a position to win. There's several packs. I'm going to start. The first one is called a premium pack. You can get 20 sleeves. A sleeve is basically 30 patches in an envelope. They call it a sleeve to get a 1 month supply. And you get a big discount because that particular patch, a sleeve retails for $149.95, approximately $150 for one sleeve. That's a 1 month supply. But why pay retail when you can get it for wholesale? If you get the 20 sleeves, you get a bigger discount. So instead of paying $2,000 for 20 sleeves, you get it for $1,750. It comes out to about $87.50 per sleeve. Again, if you're a business person, business minded, again, when I got started, I was literally giving out sleeves. You don't have to do that, but I did. The other benefit of getting the 20 sleeves in the premium package, you don't have to order any patches for 90 days because you do have to have a monthly subscription of at least one sleeve per month to allow your volume to accumulate. So you have forego that for the next 2 months. You'd have to place an order. The next sleeve down from that is the Advanced Plus. The Advanced Plus, you get 11 sleeves again for $975 instead of $1,100 for the 11 sleeves. You get another discount. The next one is the advanced. Advanced is where you need to have if you enroll 2 people at the advanced level, one on the left, one on the right. That is how you get to 1-star manager. It could be in volume or it could be in them ordering 300 points of volume. But again, we go into the details in our training. Just understand this. By somebody getting started with the advanced pack, they get 6 sleeves. They get a discount instead of $600. They get it for $535. And if you can't get an advance, you can get started at the core. The core gives you 3 sleeves. It's a 90-day supply, which you need to have a minimum. It's $295. The benefit of that is, again, you get started. And you can upgrade from one to the other at any time. So if you want to go to core to advance, you will just pay the difference and you'll get the different amount of sleeves. Or you can go from core and jump all the way to premium. These are all just one-time purchases. It's not something you have to do on a regular basis, but you do need to have at least a one-sleeve monthly subscription. The benefit of that is you are what they call active and qualified. You need a one sleeve a month anyway, because think about it. This is a health investment. So I have one for myself. I get one for my wife. I get one for my mother. Obviously, she loves to patch it. I get one for a brother of mine who has some challenges. So I get 4 sleeves per month because it's an investment in their health. Because if you think it's costs a lot to buy a sleeve, I want you to think of the cost of bad health, as Dr. Stroman mentioned. The cost of bad health is devastating. It's killing us in our churches and in our people of faith. Now, if you want to maximize, so if you get at least a 1 sleeve subscription per month, you can get paid the first 4 ways I just shared with you. If you want to get paid the other additional ways, there's 9 total. You have to have at least a 2 sleeve subscription. But again, you definitely need at least 1 sleeve for yourself. And as you heard some people say, I gave samples. So I had another sleeve just to give samples so people can try it on their own. So 2 sleeves, again, it's not a stretch. But again, imagine having a multi-million opportunity to have a multi-million-dollar business and your overhead is only $200 per month. If you can fill out just by getting customers. So again, Those are some of the benefits. Become a brand partner. If you want more information in terms of how our team works, go to thisisateam.com. You will see all of the training that you need. If you're independent, you can literally go to that site and learn how to build this business on your own. But we don't leave you on your own. We have a team of people. We have a lot of the most successful people in the industry training us on a regular basis. So again, you will get the information that you need to have success. You just have to plug in. Now, tonight, for those of you who want more information, there is another call at 10 o'clock p.m. for our West Coast visitors. For those of you, so if you like what you heard, you have time to say, call a few people, say, hey, I want you to hear about this opportunity. Share this information with them. You have 2 weeks to take advantage of this bonus we talked about. You can literally become a one-star manager tonight. Get 2 or 3 people ready to get started or join. You can do it in a day. Now, this call tonight is going to be done by one of our leaders. You don't see them on the screen, but I wanted to share this photo with you because the gentleman in the middle, his name is Ken Robinson. Ken Robinson was one of my mentors. He got started, when Ken got started, he was told by his doctor that he had 3 months to live. He had a cancer, a rare case of cancer, but he didn't tell anyone about his condition. He was able to live for another 3 years. He passed away this past summer. But because of his diligence, because of his passion, he would travel around the country and share this opportunity with other people. When he passed, he left his wife and his son a multi-million dollar business. They literally have a multi-million dollar business because of what he built in less than 3 years. So Ken Robinson, again, we attribute to him. He's the person that helped a lot of us. He's the one that's, again, doing some tremendous thing, but it's in his wife and his son are carrying on his legacy. The two gentlemen on the left and right of him are some of the most powerful leaders that you're going to get a chance to meet at some of upcoming events. In fact, the gentleman on the left, his name is Mr. Reggie Stewart. Gentleman on the right, name is Z Kendrick. They are both successful businessmen. Reggie Stewart's daughter, who's a Division One, she was a Division One college softball player. She is going to be doing a presentation tonight. So if you have any people that are millennials that want to hear about this opportunity, because it's not just for the old and those who are ailing, it's for everyone because we all have stem cells. So you want to get back to the person who invited you to this call if you want that information so you can get on that call. Last but not least, the time is down to make your move, to make a decision. And now that you've seen this information, make a decision and get back to the person that invited you on a scale of 1 to 10. Let them know where you stand. If you're someone who just want to try the product because you want the health benefit, that means you're somewhere between a 1 and a 4. You want to at least get started. Become what's called a preferred customer. Preferred customer allows you to get the product for $99 a month as opposed to $149 just by setting up a monthly subscription, which you could cancel at any time. But again, that's one of the benefits. Become a customer, preferred customer. Again, if you're interested in, if you're somewhere between a 4 and a 7, that means you like what you see, but you have questions. You want to go to thisisitinfo.com to get more information, but get your questions answered and come on board, and we'll be looking to accept you with open arms. But if you're somewhere between 8 and a 10, that means you know you want to do this business. You just have to decide at what level you want to get started, which package to get started with. Get back to the person tonight. Let them know, let's get me enrolled tonight so you can start earning money as soon as tomorrow because we get paid on a weekly basis. Whatever happens between Sunday and Sunday gets tabulated on Monday, and we see it in our back office in the form of commissions and bonuses on Tuesday. We get paid on a weekly basis, so you have that opportunity. I want you to hear this as well. I think in closing, in our lifetime, we are fortunate if we have introduced to one, or we are blessed if we have 2 opportunities that could be life-changing. So in other words, if you had known about Amazon at the beginning and you was able to take advantage of it, that would have been your shining moment. Or if you knew about Bitcoin, I don't know about you, but I heard about Bitcoin. I learned about Bitcoin. I purchased Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a digital currency that was only 5 cents per coin when it was first introduced. It was even cheaper than that. But let's say you would have purchased $1 worth of Bitcoin for that was at 5 cents. You would have owned 20 Bitcoin. But what if you was a big spender and you spent $10 and you had 200 Bitcoin? Last year, Bitcoin got as high as $126,000 per Bitcoin. Let me say that again. You would purchase Bitcoin for 5 cents a coin. You had 20 Bitcoin for $1. Imagine how much it would have earned you if you had been at the right time at the right place and had this information. That would have been what I call your Bitcoin moment. But many of us don't get those opportunities. In fact, in our lifetime, we're lucky if we get 1 or 2 opportunities that could be life-changing. And my question to you is, as you think about this information and you think about this opportunity, is this your first opportunity or is this your last when it comes to that moment? whatever it is, you want to make a decision, get back to the person who invited you. I'm going to close out with a 2-minute video. Again, it's by one of the doctors of 40. He has 40 years in the industry. He's going to talk about how he believes this is the most revolutionary item he's ever seen. But after that, I want to thank you all for your time. Get back to Johnnie Myers, get back to Mike Huggins, and let them know whether you're a 1 to a 4, a 7 to a 5 to 7, or 8 to 10, wherever you stand, let them know. But you want to get your hand in these patches, and again, share with other people. Let's make a difference in the world and eradicate bad health and bad debt in our communities. And I'll see you all on the beaches of the world, literally. We'll close out with this video.
First, as a physician who's had my license for 40 years and had a very strong biochemistry background and worked as an anesthesiologist, taking care of people's bodies in a very special way, I can say, and seeing what's happening with the X39 and the other patches, I can say without a doubt that this is the most significant medical breakthrough in my lifetime. And we have a big hand for that. This is, hello. To have something that connect the X39 patch is one of the most amazing products in medicine. And stem cell activation, or more stem cells, is one of the hottest topics in medicine. You have the best product in one of the hottest areas, and your health is your greatest wealth. For me, it's a no-brainer. And people say, well, will it work for this? Well, it will work for that. Well, we can't say that it necessarily will. There's tens of thousands of testimonies that are out there where people have experienced dramatic results with various problems, and symptoms, and diseases. But it's a no-brainer to try the X39 and just see if it works. And then when you recommend the X39, don't just have them do it for 3 days. What I'd say to people, if I had one thing that you can do, it would be listen with love. When you're talking to someone, don't just listen to what they're saying, what they mean to be saying, but what is God saying through that person to you? Listen and care and hear more than just at the superficial level. And when they know that you're listening to them, that you actually care about them, they're going to open up. And as they open up, they'll share problems that they have with their health or with their family or whatever. And then that's an opportunity to share about the patches. And from my perspective, as a physician, with what I've known and what I've seen, for me, it's actually criminal not to be sharing. Wow. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Good night, all. Get back to the person who invited you. And if you didn't do so, put your name in the chat so that so Johnnie Myers as well as Mike Huggins can know that you were here. Take care. Good night. God bless you.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.